All right, everybody. I just posted the video and then I had a class, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, all these issues that I'm talking about in that video, I've been through that. And that's when I started, I had to trigger my memory here. We're talking 15 years back, maybe even more, when I started talking about the credit utilization ratio and explaining how 30% is a magical number. So if your line of credit is $10,000, but you owe $3,000, that's 30% of what you owe, then you're okay, and that helps boost your credit score, right? But where did all this come from? And I said, and I've gone back to posts, and I've always said that I've been through this before, and that's how I know this stuff. So I started thinking, how do I know about this? Hmm. Well, I started thinking, it comes down to one of my paralegals. I had a paralegal who filed for bankruptcy. Of course, I took care of the bankruptcy, and within 2 or 3 months, she shows me one day at work, and I go, "How's your credit score better than mine?" There's no logic to this. And of course, what I found out was that's when I started doing research. At the time, I had 3 properties, right? I had my homestead and 2 rental properties. I had a car payment, student loans, credit cards, whatever else I had, and I was paying everything on time. And if you go back to the video yesterday, I posed that question from clients of, but why is my credit so low if I always pay timely? It's not based on just paying timely, which of course is an issue. It's also based on, you know, are you what do you owe? Do you owe 30%? Because if you owe 30% or less, that's fine. But if you just got a mortgage yesterday and you haven't paid it down, the only thing the credit bureau knows is you still owe 99, 100% of that mortgage, 80%, whatever it is still not that 30%. Now, mortgages are hard to get down, right? But that's the point. They look at what you owe overall, not just the mortgage and everything else. But within 2 or 3 months, you have better credit than me. That's insane. There's no logic to that. But then again, you can't look at this stuff logically. You have to look at this stuff from the mathematical formulas that they use and start learning those little tricks in order to improve your credit. Because basically, you're trying to game the system, right? You're trying to beat the system. But here I am paying everything timely, and all of a sudden, my credit doesn't compare to her. She has better credit than me, which of course clients always ask. I'm never going to get credit again, right? Because I just filed for bankruptcy. No, that's not true. The secret to having good credit, and I hate to say this, is you have to be in debt. Because if you don't have any debt, that doesn't mean you don't have any credit. There's no credit history to look at, which is one of the things they look at. How long have you been making payments? How long have you been on time? Oh, he's been on time for 15 years. The credit's going to go up. That's one of the factors that they consider, right? But I've had clients file for bankruptcy within 2 years. They're buying a car or a home. You just have to work at it. You have to get on debt. You have to pay timely. But then the question is, let's go back to my paralegal. How did she build up her credit so quickly? She already had that. She had a mortgage and a car payment. Now anybody can get a credit card, right? Not everybody can get a car loan. Not everybody can get a mortgage. So in her case, since she's already in debt and she's making her monthly payments on time, guess what? Her credit is fine. It starts to go up. Meanwhile, my credit's going down. I'm the one paying on time. She's the one who filed for bankruptcy. How is that working out? Again, you can't look at this from a logical perspective. You just have to look at it as to all the different factors that the credit reporting bureaus, what are they? Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and some of the factors that they consider. Now, how are you going to improve your credit? Well, look at this scenario. I come to you, right? I'm self-employed, so it's kind of hard to prove my income. I have 4 mortgages. I have a car payment, student loans, credit cards. I'm sure I even had a personal loan. If I come to you and I say, "Can I have another $10,000 in credit?" You're going to look into this and say, "I can't really prove his credit. Does he have cash?" If you see a pile of cash sitting in a bank account, you'll say, "Yeah, that's not a problem." Maybe even a secured loan, right? You say, "I'll give you a $10,000 loan, but I'm going to secure it to the $10,000 that you already have in your account." Okay, life is good, right? Problem resolved. What if I don't have $10,000 in cash? Are you still going to loan me the money? Maybe not. Because what happens if I default on everyone else? I'm going to default on you too. And so I'm obviously not going to have the money to pay you. So what if now you look at my secretary or my paralegal and she says, "I want a $10,000 loan." Would you give it to her? Yes. And I'll tell you why. She already filed for bankruptcy. That's the key. She owes nobody money. But it gets even better. She can't file bankruptcy for another 8 years. So what if she doesn't pay? She defaults, right? She's already proven that she's defaulted, right? She stopped paying her credit cards and filed for bankruptcy. Obviously, that has to count for something. Don't look at it logically. Look at the law. When can she file for bankruptcy again? In 8 years. What happens if she defaults tomorrow? You file a lawsuit and you're going to collect. And you're going to take out the 25% out of her paycheck. 25% in Florida, everywhere is different. 15 is on the low end, 25 on the high end. You can collect on that judgment for X amount of time until that debt is paid off in full. 25% out of every paycheck, 25 cents out of every dollar, $25 out of every 100 that she makes is going to go towards that debt. Me, you're not going to get paid because I filed for bankruptcy. And the reality is, now that I filed for bankruptcy, I'm going to wipe out you and everyone else at the same time. So, who's a better person to loan the money to? The person that just filed for bankruptcy because they can't do it again. You have a way to collect. So, that brings up the other issue of what creditors do. And when you file for bankruptcy, you would get notice, like all my clients do, that they filed for bankruptcy and credit cards already sending them offers through the mail. Why? Because they also know you filed for bankruptcy. That's public record, right? And they say, there's no way this person can file another bankruptcy. They're going to have to wait 8 years. So we have 8 years to collect on this debt. Now, are you going to file for bankruptcy and they're going to offer you a $5,000 credit card? No, they're not. That's not going to happen. They're going to offer you $250, $500, $750. But with time, you start paying that, and your credit card, the balance, available credit limit is going to go up. Same thing that happened with me. I've told you I have rebuild my credit. I don't know, what do I have. I think I have 3 credit cards, maybe with 8,000 plus credit card limit. But again, how did I get there from one day to the next? No, I established a relationship. I had mentioned in a prior blog post and a YouTube video that I was able to get a $15,000 personal loan. So all these things work out in my favor, and little by little, I'm able to establish my credit. Now, let's just say I file for bankruptcy tomorrow. Now what? Well, I have a mortgage and have 2 car payments. I'm already building up my credit. I'm not going to get a credit card for 5,000, but I'll get one for 500 because again, they know I cannot refile for bankruptcy. And then little by little, 500 becomes 750, becomes 1,000, becomes 2,000, becomes 3,000, and you have built up your credit. But let's go back to the beginning. Look at how crazy it sounds that I'm paying for everything on time, and yet my paralegal, who just files for bankruptcy, she has a better credit score than me. Do not go based on logic. Go based on, you got to go, like I've always said throughout these YouTube videos, you got to go outside the 4 corners of the page, right? You got to think outside the box, think outside of the book. Where the answer is not always in the book. And then there's your answer. The credit card bureaus know that you cannot file for another 8 years. They have 8 years to collect on this debt, and they're going to collect. It's a simple lawsuit, right? They loaned you money, you didn't pay, they come after you, they win. It's that simple. Me, the guy with all the mortgages and car payments, on paper, I thought I looked great. I thought I was the perfect guy to loan money to, but I'm not. The bank doesn't see it that way. So there you go. Sometimes filing for bankruptcy, especially if you already have debt, like an installment loan, because anybody can get a credit card. Not everybody can get that mortgage. Not everybody can get that car payment. But little by little, she was building up her credit every single month. Her credit score is going up, and mine is going down. Not logical, but it's the reality of the game. So you got to learn those tricks. So when you want to go get a car loan or a mortgage, you can, like I showed yesterday, that 60 point, I had a 60-point jump in my credit score. Just think about what 60-point means. Even if I had a 700 score and now I'm at 760, that's a very low interest rate. And that's how I would save money if I was going to get a car loan or a mortgage. Or even if you had 650 and now you're at 710. Makes all the difference in the world to the creditor. So know those tricks. Keep watching my videos. Keep going on my blog. I got plenty of blogs out there already in about, 5 to 6 weeks that I've started doing this. And like always, if you have any questions, send me an email and I'll post your question in the reader's question form. Okay, everybody? So got to go back to work. Got to go grade some essays. Have a good rest of your day, and a good rest of your week too, since we just started the week. Bye bye, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you next time.